Greetings everyone, Force of Nature here of Top Tier Tips, and I welcome you to my 500 sub celebration! Hi everyone, welcome to Top Tier Tips, your prime spot for tips and tricks to help you level up in Dead or Alive 5. And I'm proud to have you here for this announcement that I've reached the 500 sub milestone, and just want to say that you guys are friggin' awesome. Seriously though, I just want to give major props to you guys for just well, number one, believing in me and for supporting my channel for as well as you can. I just want to say that I myself have personally kind of grown quite a bit in this community, and really from the kind of mash and scrub that I was when I started this game to where I am now, being able to contribute to this community is it's nothing short of amazing. But you guys also that have actually kind of both like watch, support, or like read or whatever the content that is produced by myself or from Top Tier Tips is, that's just as good as me producing this stuff, because obviously me producing this content but no one actually taking it in and absorbing it is it end up making the content worth it. So I just want to give you guys, give my my viewers, supporters, and my subscribers a big shout out for supporting me to this for this long, and I look forward to be able to provide more helpful content for you in the future. In this session, I'm going to be doing something a little different. Normally, I end up producing guides that end up letting you know how to utilize characters. But in this guide, I'm going to be focusing on counter knowledge. So what I'm going to be doing is, is giving you some kind of tips with how to deal with a couple characters. In this session, we're going to be looking at Kasumi and Momiji, and as you can see right here, Kasumi will be going first. But I will also just let you know right here that Kasumi and Ayane are decked out in their gorgeous ArcSystem Works costumes. Here's Kasumi as Noelle Vermilion from the BlazBlue series, and Ayane is cosplaying as Ino from the Guilty Gear series. So these are some really awesome costumes, and I definitely kind of recommend checking them out. Team Ninja just does a friggin' awesome job with these costumes, so if you guys could support them, that would be really good. Alright, now on to basically just learning how to deal with Kasumi. I should probably give you some details regarding to her also. In general, Kasumi is considered a bit of a pseudo rushdown or counter-hit fishing character, with her strengths mostly revolving around CQC, which is close quarters combat, and she also possesses like really good mobility and defensive ability, which is usually courtesy and based around her quick strike speeds, powerful long manipulative strings, and also surprisingly good throws. And she also does have good movement options. Which augments her mobility, and she also possesses decent, pretty good holds, and is a speedy character that has parries. Alright, first thing to note is she is under the lightweight class, which means that she can be juggled fairly extensively after getting launched on either launch light level 1, level 2, and level 3, which with launch light level 3 allowing you to get off fairly extensive juggles on her. So that is good to know that when you actually do kind of tag her and catch her and are able to lay down some hurt on her, it's good to know that you can really lay on the pain with juggles. But the quick characters in this game, well, with the exception of someone like Christie, usually do tend to be in around the lightweight classes. Alright, one of the main things to keep in mind when dealing with Kasumi is that she has a lot of extensive strings that are off of like quick pokes. The two string starters I want you to pay the most attention to would be like her her 5P, so neutral P, or her 6P. Those ones are going to be the strings which are going to be used more extensively. Alright, when looking at how to deal with Kasumi, I highly recommend putting on her move list right here. Just a little recap. Left is for left character, right's for right character, or you can put on both. So left would be Kasumi, where the right would be Ayane. Alright, right here, if you look at the first, I'll just show you right now, if you can see right here. If you look to the far left, you can see that there are quite a bit of strings that start on just her neutral P. You see when I press P, it lights up. When I do PP, PP lights up. So, one of the first things you can notice, just from looking at the first, let me just get, if I can line this up. Just from looking at the first, well, right here, the first 6 strings, you may notice something. The first 2 hits of each, the first 2 hits of her P string are almost always PP. So what I will let you know that after you get to PP, this is where her mix-up usually starts to come in. Like after PP, she can go like PPP, PP6K, PP2K, PP6P, like she has a bunch of options. But the main thing to keep in mind though are, well, she also has a high option PPK. The main thing to keep it in mind though is mostly whether she's going to go mid or low. Like you don't have to worry about PPK as much, but the main thing to look out for is like either PPP, PP6P, and of course the main one I want you to pay the most attention to is PP2K. Essentially, if you're being really defensive against Kasumi, which is kind of expected considering how kind of relatively dominating she can be in close, if you let her run her speed on you, is that if you stand there block, she's gonna harass you with PP with a PP2K from the P string and from the 6P string. She's probably gonna mostly harass you with 6P2K. I mean, so if you just stand there block and those are the main things you want to look out for. If you suspect she's gonna do PP2K, after the first PP, crouch. So what that will end up doing, it will avoid, well, you'll block PP2K, which can be throw punished with a stand-in throw. Don't do a crouching throw. And of course, if she does PP throw, you'll crouch under that too. So that means that if you crouch right after it, then the things you have to be careful about is like PPP or PP6P or PP6K. So the main things to notice is after the P strings is is the Kasumi player doing PP2K a lot to try and shake you up? Is she continuing the string with like PP6P strings or like PPP strings or stuff like that, or is she trying to sneak in a stun with a normal hit stun with PP6K? So those are things to kind of watch out for. She does have attacks off of just a single P, like P6P. The main purpose of this one is to try and fish for like a lot of her stuff is to fish for a counter hit stun, but the options after P6P are generally like P6PP or P6PK are unsafe when blocked. And if she goes into P6P, she doesn't have as lengthy strings as opposed to going through just the main PPP. So if she does end up stopping it, does something like P6P, then she'll be a bit more limited with string. And if she does like P6P and goes into the stance, you can just down punch right away. Because if you don't, then she's gonna try and sneak in like one of her some Hoshinpo nonsense. So if she does go into the stance, just 2P right away. Although I mean, yeah, I think she does have one way to avoid it, but But a 2P recovers quickly, so it's usually the kind of safest option to go with in that sort of situation. Another string to watch out for that Kasumi might use during stun off of her P string would be like PP7K. So I want you to kind of watch out for that because it does launch pretty quickly and does allow her to get off like a quick juggle. So yeah, you're gonna have to be a little careful of that one. Right, the other string I really wanted you to pay attention to is her 6P string, because other than her PP string, she's gonna harass you with her 6P. As you can guess, the number one thing to look out for is her 6P 2K. The mix-up that she's commonly going to do with that is just simply doing a 6PK. This right here is a safe on block poke. The frame data will tell you that it says -12 on block, but this, you can't punish it at all. It pushes you completely out of throw punishment or jab punishment range. So even at -12, Kasumi can't be punished for that, and she has two follow-ups or two primary follow-ups mainly to focus on. That is 6B KK, which is mid punch, mid kick, so mid, or 6BK 2K. Be careful that Kasumi string follow-ups are very delayable, so when you're on defense, you are going to have to be patient. When you do catch on to what she's doing, then you can usually block and punish, or if you're feeling bold, you can also try and hold it, so like hold the low or hold the mid kick. But in general, Kasumi's 6BK string is really good. So you want to be careful about her trying to abuse that on you or abusing 6B2K. Those are the main ones, but she also can might try and wall slam you with 6B2K, but generally 6BK and 6B2K are the main string variations I want you to pay attention to. For the kick off of 6B2K, she can also get it off of her 4P. So 4P 2K, again, very delayable, and her 3P or 3P 2K. And just to note, her 3P is her primary lift stun move. Comes out in 13 frames and has high crushing ability, so it's also a really good poke. And 4P also can high crush, because why not? And it comes out in 12 frames. In fact, I'll go over her high crushing moves right now. Primary ones to like look out for, well, apart from like 3P in close or 4P from like not quite mid-range, but not quite in your face range or like complete range 1. Kasumi will try and poke you with 4P and try and either sneak in 4P 2K or try and launch you with 4PK. And can get a small juggle out that. As you can guess, both enders are considerably unsafe, so you're probably just mostly going to see 4P just for the nosebleed stun on counter hit. So those are pokes to look out for. For other crushes, she has 1P. If it hits you on a normal hit, like I can show you right now, if it connects on normal hit, it will leave her negative, and you can actually option select the situation when she does. If she either does a 1PP or just 1P, if you do a low throw, what you'll do is that if she pre-cancels 1P, you'll throw her, and if she does 1PP, you'll just go under it and you'll recover before her and be at a slight advantage. So whenever Kasumi does 1P low throw. So yeah, this is only pretty much good on counter hit, but it is an instant high crush, so some Kasumi players may use this, but other ones may also be weary, so you have to take note of that. Her primary high crush launcher is 3P. Another one which is her mid punch. She can high crush with T36P. It's a high punch, but this does high crush and has slight low crush capability, but it's mostly used as a high crush. It's also one of Kasumi's better launchers, so that's another thing to watch out for. For low crushes, he's predominantly going to try and use 9K. Has 2 follow-ups, 9KK and 9K P. Or if she's feeling ballsy or in a kind of like a B-Boy Dragon mood, she may try and interrupt or low. Well, this isn't generally used as a low crush. It's mostly just an outright interrupt because of how fast it is with her 7K. If you block 7K, I can show you right now. Kasumi will be left at -30 and cannot transition into Hoshinpo stance. What this means is every time you do this, you can either go for your strongest throw, like 12 frame, or well, in Kasumi's case, she has a 17 frame throw. You can go for whatever throw, or if you want, you can also go for like a combo starter, so strike punishment. With Ayane, if you end up blocking this, the recommended thing to do with Ayane is you can either go for her 6-4 T throw, or you can do go for her 4K for a free sit down stun. So if you end up blocking that, you can either try for strike punishment that goes for allows you to get a guaranteed combo or juggle, or you can even do something that nets you like a nice lift stun, for instance. Like sometimes after this I might try Christie's 8K and you end up getting you get decent damage and get a nice lift stun to start your offense. So after you block that, you can get options. Alright, I'll show you some throws that I want you to look out for from Kasumi. I'll just let you know she actually has quite a bit of throws, but the main ones I want you to watch out for is her 12 frame throw, which can lead to various juggle combos. Her 3-3T, that's her 17 frame throw, does 68 damage and allows her to get away. And well, she also can get decent damage from her quarter circle back throw, which does, I think, is also another 12 frame throw. Does that? There's another 12 frame throw, does 62 damage on normal hit, which would be 93 on high counter. So those are main ones to look out for. She does have a reset throw, grants her +10, but it's but I don't really find it to be that good for her compared to some other characters' reset throws, like Hitomi's or Mila's, for example. As you saw right there, Kasumi's quarter circle forward throw it does have a sealant hit, and that's so when you're fighting an opponent under a sealant, her quarter circle throw becomes incredibly dangerous. It ends up becoming by far the #1 throw to look out for, because obviously, I mean, under most circumstances, unless your character is dangerous under a sealant, I would recommend not just basically what I would recommend is just knock Kasumi, knock her out of the building there, so you don't have to end up dealing with that. The most common time when Kasumi is going to try and throw you is basically after trying to lock you down with quick pokes, then she's going to try and throw you. So sometimes if she is trying to pressure you, you're going to have to make a decision and try and 2P. Be careful if she's trying to condition you for 6P, so if you are fighting Kasumi in close range, you might have to make you guess a bit because of the length of some of her strings, it might be hard to try and sidestep her because you technically have to sidestep each motion. So sometimes if you know a high is coming, then you're just going to have to try and crush her or try and hold the right reaction. So similar to Christie, I do recommend learning Kasumi's strings and being able to hold certain parts on reaction, because it makes the matchup a lot more it makes it a lot more manageable, because under most circumstances, I don't recommend fighting Kasumi in her grill in close range. What I want you to do is try and try and space her out. So stay at like, depending on your character's strengths, like especially if you're like a character like Ayane, which has good keep out ability in fight, Kasumi at like mid-range or like further. Like you don't have to engage her in close unless you have the advantage and are trying to apply pressure. But generally, trying to enforce strong keep out against Kasumi is usually a good idea. I'll let you know that Kasumi can fight at mid-range, and we'll try and get in on you with like 6 XP, 6k, like a Hoshinpo dash, or she may just use her generic movements. So if you can end up keeping her here, you end up limiting her general's safer options that she would end up going for. Because if in terms of poking, she's gonna try and poke you with 3k or like 4p, but of course she has to be at least, she needs to be like reasonably close, like around the edge of like mid-close range to really be effective with that. So for Kasumi, try and just keep her out though. Just make life easier for you. For evasion, I do want you to take note that her 4/4 P string is a built-in sidestep, and it can stun on normal hit. It leads into the exact same thing as like her P strings. So with regards to 4/4P, just take note that she does have a built-in sidestep. So if you do like run at her or anything, if you do run at her, then she might try and use this as like an intercept, because it will go around linear strikes. Alright, well, for now this concludes the Kasumi portion of this anti-character guide. So now let's go on to the next character. Alright, now we're moving on to the second part of this session now. We're going to be taking a look at just some ways to deal with Momiji, who is currently decked out as Baiken from the Guilty Gear series. And Christie here is wearing Jacko's costume, also from the Guilty Gear series. Fortunately, she doesn't have Jacko's match skin. The little ball and chain has kind of a mind of its own, and as you can see, it kind of just goes through everything, so try not to get too distracted by that. Alright, just some little details about Momiji. She is predominantly kind of a kind of a poking, footsie type of character, so her greatest strengths is basically just poking the character. So what Momiji's going to try and do is two things. She's either going to try and poke you to death, or she's going to want to whiff punish something and try and get like a big combo or something like that. So what you want to do is not let Momiji do that. So probably arguably her biggest strength overall is that her neutral game, especially from like out, like any range, is really good. She can fight in close just fine. She can fight mid-range just fine. She can fight fine from long range. If you do anything careless against her, then she can end up nailing you with like 6 PP, 4/4K, and her 214P is also like really dangerous. However, out of all the kind of ranges, I actually find that in close range, if you play defensive against her, you can kind of limit the kind of options that she'll use to either try and open you up and pressure you, because her strings are not based around pressure. They're not really kind of used for pressure. Like I said, she's just kind of poking. So what she's mostly going to use to pressure you is her 2P. She does have a guard break in quarter circle back P plus K. This guard break does provide her with, I think, about +6, although it does have a lot of recovery frames at 44. But this move is really slow. It's like 27 frames, so she'll only really use this when she has the advantage, or she has an opening to try and apply this guard break on you. But the main thing I do want you to be wary of is her 2P. Obviously, the best way to end up dealing with 2P is simply be out of its range. Like Momoji's 2P is 12 frames and is it's neutral on hit. So if you get hit by it, generally what Momoji's gonna do is she's gonna end up doing it again. She's gonna try and poke with her 12 frame 6P, which has a follow-up that can cause a lift stun, or she might try and poke you with more jabs. But what's eventually happening after all this is she's eventually gonna have to try and throw you. So right there, that's her strongest throw. Her half circle throw does 62 damage on normal hit, 93 high counter. So it has pretty good. Right there, wow, it has pretty good range, but as you can tell, it's kind of slow, and as a result, it can be a little seeable. So a throw she more commonly try and nail you with is like 6-6T, which allows her to maintain space, which under most circumstances is really good for Momiji, because like you said, she thrives at space. She loves making it hard for opponents to get in on her. Like, this is a move you have to really watch out for. Another throw she might use to kind of chuck you around is either her 6T or her 4T. These throws, they're just standard 7 frame punish throws, but they do have the ability to get wall damage, or technically also I think can throw you off an edge, but it's kind of throw off cliff range isn't really as good as something like Ayane's similar throws. But yeah, I mean her punish throws can kind of throw you around. But basically, don't let Momiji kind of abuse this on you. Now, it's basically a Hayabusa, kick you in the head, and kind of highly disrespectful throw, so yeah, be careful of that. One thing to note about her throws is that, in general, on normal hit, they're not really that dangerous. Like, she doesn't have any sort of reset throw or anything like that, so if you get thrown once in a while, it's not too bad. But of course, if you're being really defensive and making it hard for her to try and get an offense started, and she's probably going to try and throw you a lot. Because one thing that also I want you to be careful of is that her 6-6P and 6-6T, which is like run up 6-6P or 6-6PP, or run up 6-6T, they honestly look the same. So it's almost like you have to guess if an opponent's there. So it's kind of a cheesy 50-50, but like 6-6P and like 6-6T, you do want to be careful of those two options. During the neutral game, so around, like the mid-range neutral, the number one move I want you to look out for is 6-6P. Like I said, a really cheesy mix-up is to do run-up throw along with it, assuming that you're going to do a mid-punch hold. So if you could try, I mean, obviously in order for her to throw you, she needs to get in like really close, so you're going to have to look out for that. Where with 6-6P, it reaches really far at about 2.3 meters. So obviously you do have to be a little careful if you suspect she's going to try and do like a run-up throw, but always be wary of this move and have a mid-punch hold ready, because it will give you a heads up that this move is safe on block at -5 and can become really annoying quickly because you can't punish it at all. You can punish 6-6PP if you end up blocking it, but 6-6P, Momiji can usually abuse the shit out of this move, so be careful of that. Another poke to look out for is her 4-4K. It does provide a nice stun on normal hit and allows her to set up her back turn mix-ups, which is usually back turn P, 12 frame high punch, and back turn 4P, which is now a really good 13 frame mid punch. Always sit down stuns, or I should say sit down stuns on a counter hit, not on normal hit. So after 4K, those are generally the two moves you have to watch out for. I mean, if she suspects you're looking out for both those options, then she might try and low kick. Then of course, if you want to avoid both this and this, you can low hold, but she does also have, I think, a mid-tick option too. Yeah, back turn 4K, even though I don't really find it as good because it knocks the opponent too far away. So yeah, Momiji players are gonna like back turn 4P. Another move I want you to look out for is her 2H plus K. It's a 23 frame low kick that does provide her, I think, a bit of advantage on normal hits, like about yeah, plus 13. So this is a really good high crush move. So basically, as a mix-up to like 6-6P or 4-4K, she might try and harass you with this. So if you block this move outside of close range, it's safe on block. So if she does it in close range and you low block it, then you can get off a low throw. But around tip range, the move's completely safe on block, so you're gonna have to try and low crush it if you can, or low hold. Like another, so along with this, another low to watch out for is 1P, which actually can become really irritating quickly. It does have a mix-up in terms of its follow-ups with 1P 2K and 1P P. Both of these follow-ups are unsafe on block, but for 1PP, only punish it with a forward throw because it does end up it pushes back slightly on block, so it may cause some shorter range throws to whiff. So 6P should always reach. 1PP is only -9, so make sure to throw right away just to make sure. So yeah, be really careful of 2H plus K and 1PP. If you end up running out of Momiji, some of them may try and stuff you with like a counter hit 2K, which would end up causing a trip stun, and counter hit does 12 damage. So you can look out for that too, because it's a 14 frame low. It's a lot faster than 2H plus K or 1P, but yeah, those I mean, along with 2P, those are basically like all of Momoji's lows. Anyways, now let's take a look at Momoji's infamous double jump stance. Alright, this stance now is the general common stance for Momojis to try and gimmick you on block. The 6P KK nonsense, as it's called. Alright, I'll just let you know right now that there are 3 options out of the double jump. That's the double jump P. It's called Tengu stance. So that's Tengu P. That's Tengu K. So the punch option is a mid punch, causes it's a guard break that's -1. Tengu K is her jump in critical burst. It's a high kick that leaves her at -2 if blocked, and she also has a throw. So essentially, if you end up crouching, you'll end up avoiding the throw and the high kick. If you sidestep, you'll avoid the punch and the kick. But if you're able to time a fuzzy guard, which is basically like right before a move hits, then you can actually kind of option select the entire mix-up. And someone like Christie can just do a Jikayo also to option selected, but basically I'll just let you know right now, do not let Momojis do this bullshit against you. Like, blow it the hell up. So I'll just let you know right now that some players, like, I don't know, like B-Boy Dragon may actually try to do this crap to you from mid-range, so be wary of that. Just let you know, Momiji does have really good mobility. Like, she might have arguably one of the best green backdashes in the game. She can create space well with 7P. So if you end up chasing a 7P, then she might end up, if you run at her, she might try and 7K you or 4-4K you. So be careful of letting the Momiji player bait you. For 7K, it can be really dangerous. It's a 12 frame kind of DP move. It does leave her at -25 on block, so you can strike punish it, but it pushes out far enough that she can't be throw punished, or you have to kind of do a dash and throw really quickly. So if you end up blocking that, try and find your opponent's best strike punishment to deal with it. So yeah, be careful of those moves. So she can use 7P to create space, and she might try and bait you with her single jump stance, which is our 9P. Out of there, she can do like 9 PT, 9 PK. Her only mid out of that is the kick, because in order to do that the punch kick, it's a high mid, and all of these are unsafe on block except for the guard break, or she can do punch. She also can use it to go into the double jump stance, where again, like you said, she has there's only 3 options out of the double jump stance, and out of the single jump, it's either going to be something off of a high punch, or just basically the kick, where off of the block, Momoji's at advantage, but she has to do one of these options. Oh, and also a warning too that she does also have a power blow out of that stance. Why not? I'll show you it right now. If you block it at the power blow, if you end up blocking it, then it's usually gonna leave her unsafe at like minus 10. Oh, that is unless of course it's fully charged, and it will end up leaving her at plus 13. Although under most circumstances, a character can usually get an elbow, but Momiji only can get like a jab off it because she's only at plus 13, so that's a minor disadvantage for her. Anyways, this does conclude the Momiji section. Alright, I just want to thank you guys for watching this little anti-character guide. So I hope it was helpful to you, and just again want to give a big thanks for all the support that you guys have done, and for helping me reach this awesome 500 sub milestone. So again, give your guys a big pat on the back. So that's that's just really cool. But anyways, if you have any questions for anything with regards to this guide or DOA or anything like that in general, feel free to message Force of Nature on freestepdodge.com or on my YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Also, be sure to check out my other character guides just to get a nice, well-rounded look at the cast. In the future, I will also contemplate doing maybe more some more anti-character guides too. I will also give you a small little heads up that a Rig and a Kira guide will be on the way in the future. So I mean, you can end up looking forward to that. But oh yeah, and also I'll give a little sample. I also will link a couple matchup write-ups I did. There end up being for Christie, but what it does is it ends up showing a sample of how Christie can fight Kasumi and Momiji, since I did write-ups of those on freestepdodge.com, so I'll link those down below. But anyways, this is going to be Force of Nature signing off. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time on Top Tier Tips.